rescue! I'm off to Salford to go and rescue a lovely young lady whose car has broken down. And it is a Rover as well, so don't worry. It is a Rover 416 SLI automatic. So it's not a car that can be just left. I have to go and do Captain Mustard stuff. But as usual, I forgot my cape. That phrase, not all heroes wear capes. It's been around a few years now. Well, first of all, I'd like to say I find that immensely irritating. And the other thing is that, you know, some villains wear capes, don't they? I mean, Dracula, was he a villain? Was Dracula a villain? The bearded Superman villains, they were my favourite of all the villains wearing capes. What about Cape Canaveral? Jeff Capes? Already you may be thinking, this sound quality is much better than normal for, you know, a driver in the truck, and that is because I have a microphone just here. Or you may be wondering why I'm talking about the sound quality being better when there's either no sound at all or it's not any better. That's because I have this microphone and I'm anticipating it being better. Also, it's not a microphone, it's my earphones plugged into the phone. I just thought I'd try it. This Iveco van thing here is basically a van face, but with a full-size truck back end on it, which I think looks rather stupid, but also may lead the van driver into a false sense of security because he thinks he's just driving a van. That's a very slow gate. One rescued 416 SLI, and again, maybe I should stop giving these away. You could say that today is a beautiful day, but you know what I would call it? I would say it is what it is. Do you know why? When referring to the weather, it is what it is. It's probably the only example where it makes sense, because the weather is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's nobody's fault. Whereas if you're selling a clapped out old Transit and you say it is what it is, no it's not. It's knackered because you haven't looked after it. It looks, unfortunately, like this rather lovely Rover 416, which some of you may have seen. I even did a review on this car, has a snapped cam belt. And as you've just seen, this car also has one of my stickers on it. So, is the Project Nigel sticker a curse? Or are they just wanted by people that don't look after their cam belts? This car's not coming home with me, by the way. I am en route to Rover Revival. That's en route, that's EN route, not ON route, to Rover Revival, where Craig shall be fixing it. Look into the distance, you can see your hills. That means we are out of Manchester. Not Greater Manchester, but Manchester and into Ashton. What a wonderful little town Ashton is. I'm just in the mood today for praising stuff, whether I like it or not. As it goes, I do like Ashton. Why wouldn't I? Some bits of it look like some money's been spent on the place, and that's usually the way to trick the residents into looking after it. And this looks quite nice. It doesn't look full of crap everywhere. The other thing is that once you're in Ashton, you are no longer lost. You can find your way out of a place like Ashton, whereas Manchester, even if you've lived there all your life and you work there every day, you're always going to be a bit stuck as to where you're going. And this vehicle about to overtake me now has genuinely got a moustache. Yeah, there you go. is going to use his moustache to sniff up all the road dust. I genuinely don't like driving through Manchester. I mean, there's lots and lots of landmarks that mean that it's all familiar. I know where most of it is, but they're constantly changing things and putting bus routes in and trying to trick you into paying fines, and I don't like that. I like to just drive a bit more relaxed rather than with my eyes darted around everywhere, panicking, fearing that my wallet's going to be emptied even more than it already is for accidentally going down a bus lane. It's criminal. I think I've only been from Manchester area to Mossley, where Rover Revival is, 3 times. The first time I didn't know exactly where I was going, so I followed the sat-nav, and that took me down a route that was very, very awkward indeed. And the next time I managed just to get there, and then the following time I just went there. That is how normal roads should be, where you have a sense of being able to figure out what's going on as you go along, rather than this sense of dread you get whilst driving through Manchester. Driving through Manchester is a little bit like being in a horror film. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, and it is a bit of an exaggeration, but crucially it's not a lot of an exaggeration, just a bit. It's a bit like being in a horror film. Not, it is. Yes, I am here. And I can't see where I'm going as usual in there because it's too light. Find out whether the cam belt is broken on this, aren't we?
Too much auto glim in the engine.
What's that?
Too much auto glim in the engine.
So he's polished up his belt.
Probably.
I hate coming here. It don't even make me a cup of tea, the stingy sod.
So it feels okay.
The belt doesn't look the best, so I'll change the belt.
The walk of the wounded man with his big dinner. Yeah, are you going to eat all that? Eh? Oh.
Should have done you a sticker.
Get a grip. Don't worry, that was just Craig choking on a piece of bacon. And he has survived, so all's well. Delf, 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 delf. A little village called Delf. Delf, Delf, a little village called Delf. It's a little village called Delf. Did you know that? Yes, you do. Yep. Oh, all the flags have gone. That's a shame. It seems that we were allowed that 1 week to be British and fly flags everywhere, which I thought was a bit stupid, but they did look rather pretty, many of them. And whilst they were up, I'd have been happy to see them stay there, but I guess, British people don't do that. No. Flags are for special occasions, and that's all. We're not Americans, Go a bit faster, please. This is far too slow. Job done for the day. It's too warm outside there for poor little Nigel. School run time. School run time. More opportunity to talk nonsense whilst I drive a car. And now I'm back in this one. Brian Johnson. That's it. Because Nigel is going back away for the weekend. Yeah, I mean, he can hibernate all week and come out, and at the weekend he'll come out and he'll behave himself. And you know, too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. Hence the phrase, too much of a good thing. Because it would be, if I used it all week, it would stop being a good thing, wouldn't it? Having done the no-nonsense sales pitch for Brian, I haven't actually done an advert yet. Just haven't got around to it. And, well, to be honest, I don't want it playing up. I want it just to be right. So I might need to investigate further this boot and the slightly smoky issue that it has. Because it only ever smokes on startup. If it was something like stem seals, it would smoke all the time on the overrun. If it was piston rings, it would smoke all the time, surely. So for it to just smoke when you start it up suggests that the oil's leaking from somewhere where it shouldn't normally be leaking, like inlet manifolds. Could it be that? Well, you know this car is a proper full fat project drive car, but one thing I hadn't even considered they may have cut the corner on, they've actually got rid of one of the horns. When do you ever hear a Rover horn that sounds like this? That's rubbish. I don't like to call it rubbish, but I've never had a Rover that hasn't got a decent twin tone, kind of tritone horn. So that's how much money were they saving by just having one horn?